Close to now. Welcome to Eye on the Illini. This is Mike Kegley with Brad Sturdy, Kedrick Prince, Illini legend Marcus Griffin. We are talking the Illinois victory over Northwestern, a scrappy team that doesn't let you look as good as you'd like to look. But Illinois comes away with a 11-point victory, breaking a 3-game losing streak at Northwestern. Sturdy, what are your initial thoughts?
I mean, this is about the game I expected. I mean, not saying each individual thing, but I mean, I really thought that Illinois would, it would be a tough game. It was going to be a grind. And so it doesn't really surprise me the way it worked. One thing I said, what I think happened though, Illinois showed some toughness to battle through some difficult times. This is a game that that literally multiple Illinois teams in the past would have lost over the past few seasons. They weren't tough enough, and or maybe they just didn't have the pieces and so many guys. They didn't have a guy like Wagler. They didn't have a guy like Boswell just willing you to win. And it was evident tonight they had those pieces, and they had multiple guys make important plays. You had one of your best players, under the weather. You had guys who struggled. I'm not sure there wasn't other guys that were a little sick. I think Iowa made them sick. I mean, Iowa makes us all sick, so that's part of it. But I think that there was I think it's a really important to go forward. It's the first time we started 4-0 on the road in the Big Ten since 2004, 2005, and that team ended up being good. So yeah, I mean, I think it's really impressive what they were able to do on the road there, and I thought they got some stops. The one thing they have to do is figure out who's going to be the other guy, the other defender on the perimeter. Because you can't play through Wagler every time and then have him expect to be a defensive stopper on the other end. And that's where like Stojakovic being out for so much. And I wonder why he didn't play much, because he was rebounding. He just wasn't really scoring. But I think they wanted Davis to space the floor a little bit and then play through Wagler. But yeah, I mean, Stojakovic can be that secondary defender who's really good. When you have a guy, when Reed got cooking, and then you had wherever you had Boswell, they just went to the other guy. I mean, because Boswell was that good, that's how important he was defensively. So, yeah, it's a really impressive win.
Kid,
I'm just, you take the win. You're right. You avoid 4 straight losses to Northwestern. I'm a little bit baffled. I shouldn't make that big of a deal out of it, but Stojakovic only playing 23 minutes and getting 4 points and getting 5 field goal attempts is a concern for me. But again, maybe it's just an isolated event. It hasn't happened before. He played well at Iowa. Maybe it was just what they were trying to do and what Northwestern was giving them, But also, you start 4-0. On the Big Ten, on the road in the Big Ten, not starting, but you have 4 road wins. And I don't care who you're playing against. They're tough games, and it's nice to be able to kind of get ahead of the A-ball, especially if teams can come to Northwestern, maybe a Michigan State, and slip up and lose. I know people are thinking that's not possible. Well, if you watch the Iowa and Purdue game tonight, Iowa gave Purdue all that they wanted. I tell you, if Iowa had a better supporting cast, they would be really tough. But it's just Bennett Sturridge, and that's it. They have nobody else. So anybody can be beaten on any given night. You saw Wisconsin going to beat Michigan at home. So these wins matter. It's the Big Ten. You don't apologize for them. And I will end with this so you can get to the big fella. This game, to me, it's Northwestern, and they're not a great team. And this matters to Brad Underwood a lot more than I think people realize. I watched him coach multiple games. I watched the Missouri game, the Tennessee game, the Iowa game. Every time there was a big shot, he is the only coach that shows no emotions. Tonight, that corner 3 by Jake Davis, he was giving emotions. The layup from one of the layups from Keaton Wagler. This game means a lot from a bragging rights standpoint to the coaches. Underwood never celebrates on the sideline during the game. Tonight, he did a few times.
Marcus, you can tell us that. And by the way, I'm getting a lot of DMs that people want to see you play that piano behind you during the broadcast.
That would never happen. Never happen. But off of what you just said, I think Coach today was a little bit more animated because I think he was giving his team a little energy. I think he noticed that they was dead at times. And I think when you see your coach coming with that much energy, it kind of infuses into the team. But going into the game, Big Ten road game, if you're trying to win a Big Ten championship, you got to knock these out. Like, you have to win the games that you are supposed to win on the road. It's just that simple. You cannot take a hiccup. You want to win a Big Ten championship, you go into Northwestern and you handle business. We could talk about how they play and all that good stuff, but at the end of the day, you win this game. You want to win the Big Ten champions, you win this game.
And Marcus, over the years, people get mad at me at Illini guys. They're like, you're too nice. But if you get a road win, nobody gives a dang about your style points. You win by 1/10 of a point, and you get the W. Who the hell cares?
It is hard to win.
Now, what I'm worried about is Minnesota, because Illinois has done a lot of over the last few years. They've won games on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday night on the road, and then gotten upset at 11 a.m. on a Saturday. So this is the job here is clearly falls on sturdy shoulders to get these guys ready to go Saturday morning, ready to play, Brad. So no pressure when you're over there. Just keep that in mind.
I will work on that. I will work on that. No, I think I think you're right. You've seen that in the past. I feel like this team's different. I really do. I think they're different. They have a different mindset. They have so many different pieces, and I know people don't like this or that, but they have. When you think about it, all 5 guys in the starting lineup can go out and throw 20 on you. You know, I mean, at any time. You know, I mean, just they all have the ability to score in bunches. They all have the ability to do some things. So, so I'm pretty. I like this team much better. I also think that they probably are a team that they're so good offensively. You realize they're up to 5th in the nation right now in Ken Palm. They're going to be they're top 10 in the net. If they win Saturday, they're probably going to move up into the top 10 in the AP poll. I mean, this is like, I think we're underselling this team. I know that sounds crazy, but I feel like we're underselling it because of some early losses when they weren't whole and they weren't connected. But when Tomislav Ivicic plays like this offensively, his team's so much better. I mean, it's just, there's no other way to do it. A criticism, I would like to see a little bit more diversity on offense. We saw this a lot. If you go back in the day when a couple years ago when they had Damask and Shannon, everything ran through Marcus Damask. They read booty ball every time down the floor. It was like every play was same thing. I don't want to see them put that pressure on Keaton Wagler. I would like to see them use some different actions, do some different things, and make some and do something a little different. But yeah. But other than that, I really can't finding the defense is much better. They're top 20 in defense. That was the knock, last couple of years. Offense is great, defense wasn't. Now they've got a top 20 defense, and got to give some credit to Cam Crocker for what they've done defensively.
Yeah, and before we get any further, some people have asked to talk a little bit about the stats, so I'm just going to run through it real quick because there are people listening on an audio standpoint as well. You can see what Ked was talking about. Stojakovic with 4 points, but he did have 6 boards, and I thought he had quite a few hustle plays. Boswell with 13 points, 4 boards, 6 assists. Ivicic with 21, 7 and 1. Wagler with 22, 5 and 3. Merkovich under the weather, 6 points, 5 rebounds. Lee got in for a brief time. Humrickhouse was 5 points and 2 boards. Jake Davis, 6 points, a board and an assist. And Big Z was 2 points and 2 rebounds. And I think he managed to get rebounds without traveling. So that was a huge thing today. I can only imagine what Marcus thinks when he watched a big man fall down with the rebound more than once. We used to have one guy who would fall down all the time, and I would scream at him, and nobody's ever won a basketball game on the ground.
Coach McClain used to kill us when big guys was not supposed to hit the ground.
I'm actually with you on that. So, Illinois had balanced scoring tonight. I thought Wagler played well, because I think actually for the first time, I think he had a couple shots that I thought were maybe a little bit forced. He doesn't do that very often, and I think that goes back to what Brad was talking about with the just the load that he carries as a freshman. Looking at this game, Ked, what did you think about the defensive effort? Held Northwestern to 39% shooting. And I thought that was impressive for a team that is a decent shooting team. Now, Northwestern actually had 36% from the three-point line. But really, to me, the only other concerning thing I saw was this was a much closer rebounding margin than what we're used to. Illinois winning the battle on the boards 32-30.
Well, a couple of things to unpack here. Everybody knows how good a rebounding team Illinois is. You're going to see teams constantly say when they do the scouting report, this is how you beat Illinois. You got to block out. You got to guard this guy. You got to guard this action. Number two, this is Northwestern's Super Bowl. Okay, this is it for them because we all saw the statistic. They're the worst three-point shooting team in the Big Ten, and they shot the ball well tonight. I'm going to give kudos to Cam Crocker. We all have our own coaching styles. We've all coached. One of the things I like to do, if a team goes on a run and a coach calls a timeout, I don't go back out in the same defense. Twice Northwestern did that, and Cam changed defenses. I thought it was great because then you take that opportunity away from them because the players are going to revert back to what they were doing. So I think he's doing a tremendous job. He did a good job against Iowa in the first half. I think the players got tired and, there were a lot of backdoor cuts that Illinois gave up. But I think he's doing a really, really good job this year. He's only been there 1 year to implement his system. So I like what I see out of that. And if they're going to win, because Brad's right, the offense is going to be there. They're going to win games, but it's going to be if you can get stops.
Yeah,
I know you asked about the defense, but I want to comment about Keaton Wagner just real quick to go back to that. I'm not disagreeing with you, Brad. I'm not, and I don't mean it this way, but I don't. But at the same time, I would like to see Stojakovic be more involved in the offense. But at the end of the day, I feel more comfortable with Keaton shooting the ball. When you look at that roster, the one guy, whether he's a freshman or he's in preschool, he's the one kid that I feel really confident in right now. I mean, Kylan's playing great. He's playing like a senior. But I just feel like every time Keaton gets the ball, he's going to make a play, whether it be a shot, a good pass. And it's a lot to put on a freshman, but we've all said it. He don't play like one. And it'd be nice to have other guys. But right now, he's the guy, man, to me.
Oh, I don't disagree.
Thoughts on that, Marcus?
He is the guy.
Yeah, and Marcus, any thoughts on that? Because you played college ball. What's it like to have the freshman be the guy who has the kind of has the pressure to carry the team at times?
I will go back to what Sturdy was saying earlier before I jump onto that one. I do think they need to get him just get him off the ball a little bit, because to get him to play defense and to have that ball, I bet you his player usage is so high right now because the last 5-10 minutes of that game, the ball is always in his hands. And then you want him to then put that output on the defensive side of the ball. But unfortunately, with the impact of a freshman, man, it's a luxury to have a freshman that is calm under pressure like that. He has his blood pressure. He don't do this in the last 5 minutes of the game that you can set ball screens. He could go downhill. He doesn't get overly hyped. He doesn't get too high. He doesn't get too low. He stays calm and cool, and he knocks down big shots. It's good to have a player like that. It's really good. It's impactful. But I'm more worried about, though, when we start getting to the heart of the schedule, when he starts seeing those A defenders, because I don't think right now he is seeing the best defenders. And I feel like once he gets into that season, I want to see how he performed there.
I thought he got tired tonight, fellas. I don't know how you guys felt. I've never seen him get picked at half court like that. And
Yes,
maybe he was,
Ked Underwood said after the game he has back spasms right now. He's
Who's that?
battling Wagner.
Okay.
He's carrying the team. It's a lot.
Yeah, it is. And so he see his backs. He's carrying the team. His back hurts. That's what happened. No, but
That's how I feel during the podcast.
To your point, Marcus, he had a 33% usage rate tonight. So
Oof.
that's pretty high usage for a freshman. And it was even higher in the second half because he didn't do much in the first half. So
Yeah.
I don't know what it was in the second half. But yeah, no, I agree with you though, Ked. you mentioned that, you want to play through him. I do too. I just don't want him to get worn down either.
Yeah.
And I think that as a guy like Boswell, look at him. I mean, he's a brick. He's a brick house, right? He's tough. He's physical. He's strong. He can go down and handle the ball on offense, take a shot, take a hit, and then come down and guard because he's a grown ass man, as we say, right? Yep. I mean, he is. Now, Keaton's not quite there yet. He's great, but he's not quite there yet. So I would like to see them, maybe do that. But when you have the number 3 offense in the country, how do you complain about the offense? You know what I mean?
And I'll see if Ted agrees with me on this, but isn't it a relief not to have your star freshman with 7 or 8 turnovers during the game?
You see, every podcast you try to bait me with something, whether it be the officiating. Now you're trying to get me to say something bad about Yakashonis, and I'm not going to say it. I know you're trying to bait me. I'm going to be a good boy tonight. My mom watched the podcast last time, and she put me in the timeout, so I have to be good tonight.
Yeah. So, any thoughts on? I know we like to play. The team likes to play outside. I thought there were some nice rebounds by Ivasic on the inside. I got to go back to what Marcus talked about earlier in the season, where it'd be nice just to get the ball in the paint every once in a while, establish a threat, and then, just like having, how Ivasic is hitting from the 3, be nice to do the reverse every once in a while.
Mike, can I say something real quick? KP, let me say something.
Go ahead, buddy.
That was one of the things that I was talking about before we went live. Like, I just don't get when you have a 5-inch height advantage. Why don't we set a cross screen, go down to the block? And it's not about scoring, but it's just about making the defense have to adapt to something else. Like, everything is in front, in front, in front. They never have something else. And that's all I'm saying. Like, when you play against Michigan, who is a good defensive team, you're going to have to give them something else, because those great defensive teams, they're going to take away your first and second option. They're going to play great defense. What else can you do? When you got a ball screen and you got a 6'2" guard on Big Tim, are you willing to throw that ball down on the block and get him to do a jump hook, or get him to force the double team so he could kick it out to Jake Davis to shoot a 3? That's all I want to see.
In the first half tonight, I'm telling you, here's what Griffith said, and I'm telling you, I will put it on my Twitter account for people who can go back and watch the game or find the video. There was a sequence in the first half. Tomislav, who's 7 foot tall, had a chance to go in the post, and the guy that was guarding him in the post was Jaden Reed, who is half the size he is.
And he popped out for 3.
No, he wanted to set a screen, and I'm like, just go to the block.
Yeah.
He went out, and he literally went out to set a screen, and I mean, look at the size difference. But I think they're just programmed to go do that, and that would have been the one time I would have tried to take advantage of. And here's what give Tommy credit, he's the best post player, offensive post player that Illinois has right now, and he's a good free throw shooter. So to me, if you got in the post, no. Yeah. David is really good at taking you 4 or 5 feet away from the basket. As far as like a dribble down, a left hook, right hook, he is better than Berkovic when it comes to that. I just saying overall, if you get David in the open court, he can go by you, go left to right, put it on the glass. He's a guy that can attack it. But as far as like getting on the block, I think it's Tommy, and I just don't think he does it enough.
I thought Tommy had that in the second half. They had the one play where he got the and one there. I thought that was really good, where they took advantage of the mismatch. And that's something I went back to the Alabama game, and we've talked about this on this thing. Small ball has been their kryptonite, right? I mean, defensively and stuff. Yeah. So what you saw them do tonight defensively was they played a little junk D. They played a little almost like a matchup zone. So I think they even played a little triangle and 2 at one point.
Yes, they did.
They had a little, and they played some man. They played some different things. They moved. I thought it was good to see them vary things, because we've seen them for years just keep doing the same thing defensively over and over and over. And we saw them change tonight. So that was good. I thought that was impressive for me. I like seeing them adapting and changing in game. So I think the narrative has to change a little bit on that end. But you mentioned the other thing about Tommy is he had a little bit of life. Didn't you think he felt like he had a little bit of life? Maybe it's when you make shots.
When you make shots. When you make shots.
So yeah, and the one thing about Tommy too is I think when he gets the ball in proper positioning, Griff, you made a great point. I think many times we just get him on a mismatch. There's no other screening action, so he gets the ball 15 feet from the basket instead of getting 8 feet from the basket. If he gets that ball 8 feet from the basket, much harder to come with the double. You have to come right away. You can't wait till he puts it on the floor because now he's just right into that jump hook or that spin, whatever. So there's a lot of things there. Offensively though, you guys, I thought they ran some great counters tonight offensively. Like, so there was a play, you had the ball screen into the ghost screen, and then Wagler drove and he got the and one. The next play, they run the exact same action. The guy jumped to take away the drive. He crosses over, goes back. He gets the step back three. They ran the same action later, and they didn't chase. They didn't go with Tommy. They stayed in. He hits a wide open three. So the adjustments are there, and part of that is Keaton Wagler being so good at decision making coming off that. But some of that's the coaching. Tyler Underwood said we're going to go back to that play that has worked multiple times. After you run a few times, and it's a different guy, and they found a different guy on every time they ran it. So I thought that was really impressive.
Hey, I want to comment really quick. Brad made a comment about it's nice to see change on the defense from Illinois. Do you guys remember this was the game last year, Brad, where Chris Collins, after the post game, got on the Big Ten Network and he made the comment that Illinois was going to do the same thing over and over again. Do you guys remember that? He made that comment, and tonight you can't say that anymore because they will go to a matchup zone. They will play 2-3 zone. So it is different. And I know the fans were really frustrated after that, one, because they lost, but to hear Coach basically say that Illinois is easy to guard because they don't change anything.
Yeah, especially when you look like on defense at least, Underwood's got a spectacular video on how to run a 3-2 defense when he was back as the assistant coach at South Carolina that he did. And so it's in him, and it was nice to see it a little bit today, for mine. I do have to ask a question here because there are three things in sports now that I no longer feel like I understand as I've gotten older. I have no idea what constitutes as a catch in football anymore. I have no idea how you're supposed to properly score a round of boxing anymore. And now I have no idea what a flagrant one really is because Wagler keeps getting called for these flagrant ones. It's like, okay, you're talking one of the like mild-mannered Clark Kent type of guys who's out there doing these flagrant fouls. So I just thought and again, I didn't like either of the calls today. I just thought they were guys going for the ball. Can you no longer just go for the ball anymore?
You can't hook. So you can go for the ball, but
don't get your arm close to that guy's.
As soon as you do this, they're going to call it.
And he grabbed his wrist on that play. I totally understand why. It's the same thing Boswell got, that intentional foul early in the year, and then, the hook and hold thing, and then Illinois got one hook and hold. I think it's a common thing for people to do. Like when you play in high school, like you guys we all played in high school. We grab people, used to grab people all the time. I used to hold jerseys. I used to do all that stuff, right? I mean, that's just part of the game, right? You go to college, now they got instant replay. So even if the three blind mice can't see it, they're going to go to the scorer's table and they're going to see it. So
I get a kick out of when the kids pretend like they're surprised. And my first thought is, dude, are you aware that they're going to show the replay and they're going to show what you did?
I actually like Big Z. I mean, I still didn't think there was really a foul on him.
That was bad. That was a horrible call.
But I didn't like that call.
I thought the hustle he showed.
For a hustle, no, let that play go on. But
I thought that was
on the
great.
road, if I was the home team on the road, I want that call because he pushed it with the hand. But if I'm a home team, getting that, let that play go. Let that play go.
Our condolences out to Chris Short. He had to watch me play high school balls. So
what?
Good God,
poor guy.
That must have been horrible.
Oh,
my God, that must have been horrible.
Man, did they have, that was back when they had to take the ball out of the basket with the out of the peach basket, right?
Black and
exactly,
white TVs out there. Black and white TVs.
No,
No,
we had
black and white
color
TVs.
Oh,
And
there weren't TVs, Marcus. Only
Oh.
radio, baby. Only
hey,
radio.
by the way, I do have one thought though. With American sports, particularly football and basketball, nobody has a black and white TV. So why couldn't Illinois wear orange and Northwestern wear purple? Why do you have to have one team wearing a white jersey anymore?
Tradition.
I mean, they had white jerseys because in the old days, you'd have black and white. You couldn't tell who was who.
Tradition. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
I think they can. I think they can do that, though, to a certain extent. But
yeah. I'm pretty sure
in high school, the NFHS, high school rule, the home team has to wear white.
Yeah. So why?
That's an NFHS rule.
Apparently,
because
referees see black and white. Maybe that's the issue.
Well, they're stripes. They have the black and white stripes in high school, so it confuses them. No, but no, in high school, I know it's because like teams would have that secondary jersey and be like they'd have a black jersey, and they'd wear it on the road, and the other team would wear their blue jerseys at home, and they'd look exactly the same or something like that.
All right, and then here one of our comments. All right, you got me. I would not recommend a red versus orange jersey. Illinois could wear blue.
We've seen that. We saw that. I saw that live in person.
Was that Wisconsin and Indiana? Yeah, I thought it was. I remember that.
Yeah, that was like, get me a pair of glasses because that was horrible. The other thing is the guy who was calling the Iowa game spent the whole game talking about how Illinois doesn't get any foul calls. Like he was kind of semi pissed off about it. He would have loved tonight's game because Northwestern got 17 free throws and the Illini only got 8. He would have just been in heaven with that one.
You know what people think about that? I'm kind of frustrated. I've had people tweet at me about that, because we complained about some of the calls. I did. I'm not going to say you guys did. But they keep stats now. Illinois is one of the least fouling teams in college basketball. So that's my response to that. And I don't like when people – I'm not saying anybody listening to this podcast did it, but people who don't understand basketball, the first thing to say is, well, we got 10 fouls and they have 0. Well, maybe they're not fouling. You don't have to use that analogy every time to say that. That is the stupidest thing in the world. Maybe they're playing good defense. And like I said, and to tell you what, you guys know for a fact, Brad Underwood has referees at practice, and they work on that. They work on not fouling. So I don't know why people are surprised because they think because you play a game on the road in the Big Ten, they automatically should call a foul. They practice it.
Hey, I will say this too, Ked. The last 2 years, they weren't close enough to guys to foul them.
Right.
If you can't reach them and they're going to the basket.
They were dunking. They weren't close enough, shooting wide open threes. No, I think they do it. They use their what they've done this year with not fouling is they use their length extremely well. I mean, it's not Z is obviously a game changer defensively, but even using guys like, having Stojakovic and his length on shooters, Wagler has good length on guys shooting, and Humrickhouse has been really good defensively using his length and not fouling. Yeah, they've got some guys who've done a good job of doing what they need to do, and that's been that's been pretty impressive. How they've evolved and changed defensively.
Yeah, no, I think that as well. So let's wrap this puppy up tonight. Brad and I work 24 hours a day, and we got to be up early in the morning to go to our respective jobs. Marcus, why don't you put your your 2 cents in, and we'll go Ked, then Brad, then I'll wrap things up for everybody.
The game is just a workmanlike game today. This is exactly what you need. Like you put your hard hat on, Big Ten, January. You trying to get back to continuing this run that we've been on and just handle your business. You don't want nobody to get hurt. You just want to go into Northwestern, let them know how dominant you are on the defensive and the offensive side of the ball and get it done. That's what Illinois did. They played a clean game. How many turnovers did we have tonight?
Tonight we had a whopping 8. So that was awesome.
Played a nice, clean game.
KJ could do that himself.
Yeah, played a nice, clean game. Got it done. And that's what it's all about at this time. You got to just take care of the games that you are supposed to win. You cannot let up. It is too competitive out here in the Big Ten to let up and let one slide. So they did what they were supposed to do. On to Saturday against Minnesota.
All right, kid.
A few things real quick. Number one, I'm glad to see Brandon Wood get a technical foul again. I'm sick of him sitting on the sideline and having officials just been in his ear. I have to be careful there. I don't like that. And and that was the one where there was goaltending call, where they thought it was goaltending call. What about this one, fellas? Welcome back, Tomislav Ibišić. Welcome back to the party. And we've all talked about how good this team could be if he's there. The whole team when he is solid. And lastly, you got another road win. You're 4-0. And Mike, you scared the hell out of me when you mentioned the 11 o'clock game Saturday. I knew it and I forgot all about it because I think that was the one time I almost got kicked out of Press Rose when they lost to USC at home that morning. You got to take care of business. Can you imagine if they go 4-0 on the road and they lose at home Saturday? Oh, my gosh.
I'm going to not want to imagine that.
Sorry.
Brad, you got your final words here?
Yeah, no, I think the one thing you have to understand is there are ups and downs. We saw Michigan lose at home to Wisconsin. That was a game they were supposed to win. These happen. When you're playing this, you're going to have days that are bad, right? Games that you're going to not play your best. I think they've even had a couple of those where they've survived and got it done. And I thought they didn't play very well in the first half tonight, and yet they still win. We get an 11-point win on the road. That's a good thing. So this is they just have to continue to get better. They have to get healthy and just win the games that are in front of you. Take it game by game. They're only really, when I look at their schedule, there are like 4 marquee matchups remaining. Now, that doesn't mean there aren't good games left, but there are 4 of these like elite games. They're at Purdue, at Nebraska, at Michigan State, and home against Michigan. Now, not saying any other games are either, but you've gone through 40% of your road schedule already. So you're in a pretty good place to have a really nice road record, and then those 3 other road games. But, if you win your home games the rest of the way and you can go 3-3 on the road, you're going to finish like 16-4. I mean, that's fantastic, right? I mean, so just take care of business, do what you need to do. And we got to appreciate, we really have to appreciate wins. I think that's one thing we get down on. And during the game, I know the game room is like really hot and everybody's popping and it's like the emotions, you're letting it out. But man, there's going to be ebbs and flows. You're going to have a 15-point lead that suddenly the officials are going to make 5 in no time at all. So you got to understand that on the road, it's hard.
Yeah, and folks, if you want to join IlliniGuys.com, 27 cents a day. We feature a couple things that are different. Obviously, we have a message board which allows you to build relationships with other Illini Guys subscribers. Plus, you can talk directly to Brad, Ked, myself, Matt, Larry, Marcus. Occasionally, he's got an account there, but you can talk to us, and it's not just a passive have to listen or read what we think. You can actually say, what are you talking about? I don't get that. The other thing we have is our game room, which is a live chat that is not for the faint of heart during the game. And I'm telling
baby,
you can
it's
get
worth the price of that alone.
Yeah, you can get 100 or few Illini fans in there during a slow offensive streak and it can get a little bit dicey in there. So it's a lot of fun as well. IlliniGuys.com, go to our front page and sign up there. And folks, again, like us, give us good reviews. And if you get the opportunity, always go to our, share us, if you see it on Twitter or something like that, follow us and then share our stuff. It'd be great. And we give people content. We're not going to sit around and yell players. If you want that, there's other people you can go to. We pretty much assume that Coach Underwood and the players, or Coach B and the players, or Shauna, et cetera, they're all doing the best they can. We'd like them to do better, but we also aren't going to sit here and just trash a bunch of college kids. So we will be back. We probably will we may make a run at doing a halftime show on for the Minnesota game, but we'll have a post-game one for sure. We look forward to seeing you. Until then, folks, go Illini.